just closing the window because today's topic is going to be a bit people don't like this conversation. My name's Sarah. I'm a healthy carnivore in the UK, but today isn't about the carnivore diet. I am going to get back to talking about the carnivore diet. I think I'm on day 445 of my last ever restart of the carnivore lifestyle. We're getting close to the changing of the weather, and this is part of the conversation. There's a reason I've got this up here today. The weather is changing, and the conversation is, well, I'm going to use the title of the book that I've been hearing about recently, called Can You Catch a Cold? Can you catch a cold? Can you? Now, someone was talking to me about this about 5 years ago, and I kind of poo-pooed it. I think most people poo-poo this as some kind of woo-woo when they first hear about it, because it's just so ridiculous to hear. Actually, you can't catch a cold. And I didn't really believe it. But this year I finally accepted that the science on people being able to pass things around, respiratory things around to each other, is actually not true. And it's scary, isn't it? That's another realization I've made. It's like me hearing about seed oils years ago and not really taking it seriously, and then 2 summers ago thinking, actually, do you know what? Yes, I'm never consuming seed oils again. I finally get it. And I heard about that you can't catch a cold 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't accept it and didn't want to accept it because it just throws something else that we've been told ad nauseum, on repeat, over and over again. It throws it out the window. And the really, really, really scary thing is if it's true that you can't catch a cold, what was 2020 and 2021 really about? Now, I'm probably going to lose people on this one. I have to be very careful what I say. I'm not monetized, but I still have to be careful the words I use, so I don't get this channel or this video taken down. But I am seriously starting to think that you can't catch a cold. And when the expression, oh, there's something nasty going around at the moment, is just not true. Do I have any evidence of it myself? Absolutely not. I've just been doing a lot of research recently on videos. There's some guy, I've now forgotten his name because I'm not a very good person for remembering facts and figures. My eldest son can remember things from the first time he hears it, every time, just like his granddad. I have to hear a name a few more times before it goes in, so I can't remember this guy's name. But 2 days ago when I was on my training course, I turned up an hour early and I decided to watch this video that had been shared with me through social media. He is the guy that wrote, Can You Catch a Cold? So I thought, well, I know the book is fairly expensive and I'm already kind of halfway there with believing it anyway. So I'm going to go on one of the other video sites. So I steered away from YouTube and went to one of the other sites. Not going to say the name of one of the sites, but I think if you follow this channel, you're probably already aware of other video platforms that you can watch. And, you know, this guy was interviewed on there. The interview was 3 months old. You know, you're better off just going to Amazon, finding the name of the video, finding the name of the guy, going onto these other websites, other platforms, typing his name in, and you'll come up with a whole load of interviews that have been with him in the last couple of years. And he will explain to you how the science behind people catching a cold it's just nonsense. They've actually done some very robust science on it, you know, like putting a whole load of people into a laboratory situation for a month, some sick people, some not sick people, trying to mix up their, using rather disgusting experiments to try and get the unsick people sick and the sick people passing them on to the unsick people, and it was never achieved, and the success rate was nothing. And I'm just going to pause the video for a second because I'm going through a respiratory detox myself, and I had 3 kind of theories as to why. One of them is it is a virus like we've heard about and I'm just caught it off one of the children I work with, or was it the sticking the stuff up the nose that they've been having and they're shedding onto me? Or is it a seasonal detox? And the more I think about it, the more I think it does actually make sense that the human body has a detox mechanism, and that somehow over the last 50 years we've been brainwashed into thinking that this stuff just passes from person to person, and it turns out it doesn't, which is quite scary. And so I ask you again, I'm not going to go into any conspiratorial stuff in this video. Well, this whole video is conspiratorial, really, isn't it? It's saying, can you catch a cold? You tell me, can you? Have you really looked into it? Have I looked into it? I have a bit now, and I'm a bit, wow. The things that it's that expression that we've heard a lot over the last 5 years. If you hear something often enough, if you hear a lie often enough, it becomes the truth. And the messages spread around, super spreaders, super spreader events. Look at these horrible granny murderers at the super spreader events. What if we were not spreading? What if you can't spread? This video is obviously highly conspiratorial, and I mustn't use keywords that will get this video taken down, so I just have to try and talk in a vague way. And I'm not saying to you that colds don't exist. I'm saying, have you looked into it? This book that this guy wrote called Can You Catch a Cold, it does go in very deep into science. So for those of you that say I just follow the science, well, go and look at that then, because that is full of science. I don't feel the need to go and buy that book. I may buy it later on. I've just been watching lots of interviews with the guy that wrote the book, and I've come to the conclusion there's not a lot of things going around. In our school now, many of us are having the change of weather autumn detox. That's what I think. I don't know for sure. I'm not the one that conducted the experiments. I'm just going by what I've heard over the last few years. And now that I've come to that conclusion, I am obviously very glad I didn't roll up my sleeve in 2021, but I know that the coercion there and the propaganda, the propaganda machine that put that together in 2021 was billions and billions of dollars of propaganda machine. You know, you had to be a strange kind of woo-woo weirdo to not go along with their propaganda. It was a genius plan, and I haven't got a bad word to say about anyone that got dragged along with it, because I very nearly got dragged along with it myself. If I hadn't been in the carnivore community at that time and been following people who don't trust the government, I probably would have fallen for it myself. So I'm grateful to the carnivore community for that. I believe the carnivore community has saved my life. It certainly changed me as a person. Though not knowing who you can trust on a daily basis gets tiring sometimes. No wonder I sleep well. But yeah, so can you catch a cold? But then I was thinking this morning, the last thing I'm going to say about this before I get to my 10 minutes that I try to get to. For those of you that can look back into ancestry, how many of you have heard either your mother or your grandmother or a great-grandmother say, oh, you just feel like that because the weather's changed? Because that was accepted knowledge 50 years plus ago. That was an accepted thing. And I actually heard, I don't know whether it was my actual grandmother or whether it was one of her sisters or whether it was one of her friends or neighbours, I did actually hear one of them say to me, yes, we're all feeling like this because the weather's changed. And I remember thinking, how ridiculous. It's a virus. We're all passing a virus around. But it's not until this week that I've now managed to cast my mind back. How many of you have heard your mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, someone considerably older than you say, it's just the weather changing, the weather changed. Yes, it's just because the temperature's changed or the weather's changed. And when you cast your mind back, you probably will have heard that from somebody. And you think, okay, maybe we have all been led up the garden path. Maybe we are all having an autumn detox, and there isn't something going around that's nasty. We're all just having a detox because the weather changed, or from something else, or because lots of children were sticking things up their noses and it passed to me, and now my body's detoxing from that. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just asking questions. I'm saying, can you? Is it possible? Have we all just been lied to? Is my head really far down on this in the camera and probably should be higher up. I hate my new smartphone. I only got a new smartphone because my son broke his and now he got my old one, so I had to get this stupid thing. Actually, though, I have started bringing out my I got a new message. I've got a new message. I am currently with message on my dumb phone. Currently with message. I'm going to read that in a minute. Got my first ever message on my new phone. Going back to the 90s. I'm going to start bringing books into the car. I'm going to only carry a phone around for emergencies in case they break down, which is the whole reason we've got them in the first place, right? Now we scroll. I would like to invite you to have a lovely day. Hopefully you have sun where you are. If you've got any sun, go and get it. If you've got any meat, go and eat it. If you've got any water, go and drink it. Protect your peace. Don't worry too much. Yes, I think there are people out to get us, but we can rise above them by just rising above it and surging forward with our lives and not letting them get us down. Protect your peace, and if it's not your time to be carnivore right now, doesn't matter, because it will be, and then it will be. Okay, that's my video. I hope I haven't upset too many people with my video. I'm only asking questions. I'm not saying that person's silly or that person's silly or this is rubbish or this is the way it is. I'm just asking questions in this video. Can you catch a cold? Beep.